Hey guys, this is Cindy, and someone had asked me how hard is it to remove the wire from wire ribbon in case you want to use it in your projects. It's not hard at all unless you want to remove the wire from the whole roll at one time. If you can cut it in smaller pieces, it's much better. I had used some on these little booklets. I just put some on the spine just to kind of reinforce the spine and just give it something pretty. So I had just pulled the wire out of both sides of this, and it helps it lay a little bit flatter. So anyway, that's what I used it for, and it was just some stuff I had on my stash for a while, and I thought it's time to use it up. So it's much easier to remove the ribbon from here than it is to film doing that, because here's all my attempts. So I definitely have some more little booklets in my future because I got plenty of spine covers for them, but I'm going to try again to film this. You can, like I said, if you do the whole roll, you're going to get very frustrated. It's much easier to work in smaller sections. So figure out what size you need for your project. And of course, I always cut mine a little long so I can trim it off later. So decide your project and cut your ribbon to fit. So you've got a much smaller piece to work with. And then you're going to push down on the fabric and up on the wire. And the wire is real teeny tiny, and it wants to bend a lot, so you just gotta be real delicate with it. And I'm just gonna try to show this. Make sure I stay in frame. Now, the wire is up a little bit. I don't know if you could see it. Just barely sticking out there, maybe. So once you get it out, you can grab it with your thumbnail. Make sure I'm on frame. Or you can grab it with pliers, but you know, your thumb works just as well. And then just pull it out. And then you got the wire. That was easy, okay? Much easier than staying in frame. All right, here we go again, the other side. Down on the fabric, up on the ribbon, just enough to grab the wire. Sometimes you might grab some of the strings with it and it won't move up, so just make sure you're grabbing just the wire. And then it just slips right out. And this is ready to go. So hopefully I got it filmed this time, and hopefully you'll give it a try and use up some of that wire ribbon that you've got tons of and don't know what to do with. So talk to y'all later. Bye. Hi guys, this is Cindy, and I'm here with telling you what I did last night while watching TV. This is kind of like episode number 3. Just thought I'd show you. And hopefully before this video I showed you about the ribbon. And yep, that's how many pieces I ended up with trying to get that filmed. So anyway, it's crazy. So what I do last night while watching TV, I finished that one magazine that I showed you in that one video, how I made these pockets. So I got 4 more pockets out of the magazine, so that was good. And then I had this encyclopedia, because see, I was kind of cleaning up and trying to sort through my Hardy Boys and all that stuff, and Nancy Drew stuff, trying to split it all between the 4 journals, and I'll show you that in a second. But anyway, so you know, you find things. And anyway, I had this encyclopedia. Now, these are the encyclopedias that were at my parents' house the whole time I was growing up. I think 1972 is the copyright on it. And my mother's finally saying, you know, I'm getting rid of those. Even though, you know, the information was outdated in them as soon as they were printed. So anyway, so she asked me if I wanted them, and I said yes. And my sister's like, what do you want those for? And I said, junk journals. So I'm not sure. And this one's got a pretty bad corner, so I may get that fixed just right after this video, because I've got some corners right here. I'm afraid it's pretty bad. It's gonna fall off or get torn even worse if I don't get it repaired. So anyway, I want to put some of these on the corners. But so what did I do with this thing? Well, first thing I did is I went through and I looked for any pictures I could use for anything else. And I got some of these men because, I don't know, I'm just thinking about somewhere along the line doing a gentleman's type journal. So I thought I may or may not use them. And then I got some of these, like here's a crossbow, or German crossbow from 1575. Because I am going to someday do I call it a Jamestown, that era type journal, because, you know, I do genealogy, and my 9 times great-grandfather came to Jamestown in 1609, so I've been kind of wanting to do that. So it's not that many pictures around of Jamestown from 1609, so anything I can get that kind of represents the time, I you know, keep it, and then I have a folder going in. I'll pull that out someday and do a journal. So anyway, then I got this guy too, because he kind of reminded me he could be a pirate. So anyway, I put him in my pirate one. And then there were some of these botanical ones, just a couple that I tour around these already, because that's how I would probably use them. So I'll put those with all my other botanical stuff, and I like that one. Most of the images in here were in black and white, and depending on what they were, you know, like they had a lot of birds and stuff, but they were so small and they just kind of blended into the background, so I didn't keep the birds. But, you know, that one I thought was pretty, so I kept it. Okay, then some that I didn't cut out yet is James Fenimore Cooper. I had done a journal on his out of his book, Last of the Mohegans, earlier, and I thought, you know, I might do that again, so I'll just keep that picture. I probably will keep it in a folder I have called books, and because one of these days I might do a journal on books, and it might have authors in it, so I kept that. I kept Charles Dickens, and there's Emily Dickinson on that one. I kept the picture of the Hope Diamond just because why wouldn't you keep the picture of the Hope Diamond? That's how I remember the Hope Diamond from when I was growing up, I guess, because, you know, obviously this encyclopedia, but when I was in, I think it was 4th grade, my teacher went to Washington, D.C. over like break. Ooh, that was my water bottle. And she brought us all back postcards. So she showed them to us, and she was going to let us each have one. And I said, I want the Hope Diamond one. So she gave it to me, and it's somewhere in my stash. Growing up stuff, you know how you keep the little mementos? I still have that postcard, and it looks just like this. But when we went to Washington, D.C. about 5 years ago, I think it was 2012, they had reset it in a more modern looking setting. I don't know what you call it. It was more, had more gold and stuff with it, and I think they changed that every once in a while. So anyway, it was pretty cool. And it was when I went, first time I went to Washington, D.C., what year was that? Before, you know, like early 1990s, they had the Hope Diamond, like you look through this little window and it was way back inside this vault, you know, you can just barely see it, you know, through all these windows. And now, because of the new technology, it's out in the middle of a floor in this big column case, and you can just walk all around it and see different angles. So, of course, I got like 50 pictures of it. So, anyway, of course, I would keep this. I don't know what I would ever do with it, but it's here. All right. Then I kept one of the fish. I'm just going to come out and say it. I hate fish. I hate the looks of fish. I hate the taste of fish. I just don't like fish. So I've got a little stack started over here in my bay window of fish things that have just been in books or whatever. Because, I mean, that's a neat little picture. Someone might want it. So one of these days when I get all these fish things together, I'm going to offer it to whoever calls me, or not calls me, or, you know, messages me first and say, oh, I'll take that fish stuff. So anyway, and then the last thing I found was this. It's Crimes Detection Scientific. And look at that big fingerprint. So that's how they did fingerprint stuff in 72. So anyway, it's definitely going into one of these Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew journals. So anyway, just toss it back here with them. And, okay, so that's the stuff I gleaned. Oh, no, that's not all of it. I also gleaned out of it things I thought might work in collages, like tear it up. So I picked this because of the blue. Same thing with that. It's just kind of interesting. Blue. Just for tearing and putting in collage. There was a map. And another blue map. Those might be pretty in some collage work. A green map. And you kind of get the idea. A blue map. Not a lot of color in here, but some stuff. Not so much this alphabet as this what's written on the back here. So anyway, that's, and then I picked that out. I'm not sure what it says, but you know, it could be fun too. So anyway, that's what I gleaned from this one particular book. And then I had the book itself. So I'm ripping out pages, right? So I'm thinking, what do I do with this book? It's not a bad size for a journal. It's, let me see if I can get a ruler. It is 6 1/4 by 9 1/2. So that's not a bad size. So when I get the other ones, other like 21 volumes, I might make some journals out of them. But this one I thought, since I'm ripping out pages, why don't I get it ready to be an altered book? So that's what I did. I just, I kept these pages at the first because they're blank, pretty much. You can write on them. And then we start on the actual, what would be an altered book. I folded this one down to make a pocket because you could see that pretty bold there. And then I did one or two more like that. Let's see. Because it had some sort of scene behind it. Just the way it fell when I was ripping these out. That one had a pretty thing here. So anyway, then I've got them where you can glue them together to be top pocket, side pockets. I haven't got them glued yet, so I'm thinking about gluing them down and maybe just offering it on my Etsy as a ultra book ready to go. I don't know what you would call it, blank one or whatever, something, and just, you know, sell it as is, pretty much. Or because, you know, I may or may not decorate it. So anyway, that's just kind of what's going on. I definitely got to fix that corner. Look at that. So anyway, did that, and then that was at TV time. Before that, I needed to find these. It was the pictures from one of those Nancy Drew books that I had already pulled out and could not find. So I'm putting them together to make some of these pages to go in their book. So I needed to find these. So in the process of going through all the stacks, I just got these bins, like, whoop, this one. Trying not to have something fall over. Okay. And I had, let's see, which one is this? Should have pages. I have 4 of these. One for each of the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys books. And this must be this one for the Jungle Pyramid, because I don't have the book pages in there because they're still here. Here's the pages I put together for the signature, started on. Here's little odd bits and pieces, if you can see that or not, that I pulled. So this is for this journal only. And like I said, I have 4 of these. So I had made some pre-pockets and stuff. I think I showed you the other day. Let's see if I can find one. There may be one. It's that one. Oh yes, this would be. Might ring a bell. Made some of these things. Of course, they're not finished. Haven't sewn it yet. So what I did with those 4 tubs as I was cleaning up, I just chunked stuff in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just kind of split up all my ephemera over those 4 journals. So when I go to work on it, hopefully it'll all be here. Plus, of course, I have to add some cardstock and just different, you know, little elements. But most of it should be here. It's a way of keeping the pages together and not getting lost again. So anyway, I got 4 of these, or 3 more behind me, and trying to kind of get the stacks down and trying to organize this so that I can do these books, because I've never done 4 at once. So we'll see if I can make it. So anyway, here's another one right here. He's not in his tub yet, but anyway, he will be, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.